We're going to kick today's video off with a pop quiz. We're going to start with this book here, The Americans by Robert Frank. What kind of photographer is Robert Frank? Did you say street photographer? Most people would. Because when you look at his photos, you would conclude this is street photography. Street photographer? Yeah, I think most people would say street photographer because most of his photos are taken from the street. How about iconic Ansel Adams? Yeah, this is an easy one, right? Landscape photography. Or one more. Let's take a look at this book by Stephen Shore, one of my favorite books of all time, Uncommon Places. If we were to page through this book, what kind of photographer would you say Stephen Shore is? Urban landscape? So now let's turn the question on to you. What kind of photographer are you? Are you a street photographer, landscape photographer, portrait photographer, editorial, fashion? How do you classify yourself? Like, who is the photographer that you think you are? That's what this video is about. The photographer you are versus the photographer you think you are. People often call me a landscape or a travel photographer. And I completely understand why, because if you go and look at the work that I've done, the galleries that are like on my website or on my Instagram, you do see a lot of landscapes. You see a lot of different places, which implies travel. Like, I totally get why that label has been put upon me, but can I be completely honest with you? I absolutely hate that label. And just that situation right there demonstrates that there is a conflict between what I intend to do, like the type of work I intend to make, and the way my work is understood. Or I can say it like this, there's a difference between the photographer that I think I am and the photographer that I am. Like, my intent when I go out is not like how pretty of a photo can I make. My intent is really about like historical record. If you were to ask me directly what kind of photographer I am, I would tell you I'm a documentary photographer. And the things that I document are land and historical places, especially when it comes to like old establishments. I love shooting on the northern plains. I love shooting around like old mining towns in California. Anywhere humanity once was, but now really isn't anymore, is what I love to shoot. Today I'm going to show you 4 systems that have helped me really dial in the photographer that I am. So I don't have to just continue to be the photographer that I think I am. I actually can prove that I am the photographer that I am because of these 4 systems. This first one is like super common sense, and it's so easy to say, but it requires so much discipline to live out. And that is simply this. You've got to get to the right place at the right time. All of your photography is determined by where you stood. I mean, that's it. Like, you had to be there to make it happen. When it comes to the photography that I like to do, I do have to travel often, whether it's here in California or whether it's going to the Northern Plains, whether it's going to national parks. It doesn't really matter where I go, but the system is I do have to go because the photographer that I am requires me to go to those places to capture those things. Okay, now let's talk about one of my favorite systems. This is called the 3-1 rule. And the 3-1 rule is that for every 3 minutes you spend on your hero shot, spend 1 minute playing around and doing something else. Let's take Zion National Park because that is one of the most traveled to, like, popular locations in the US. And there is this bridge that crosses the river, and that bridge will be lined with people out there to get this iconic sunset or sunrise shot every single day. So I'm there, I get that iconic shot, I was set up for it. Let's say I was there for 30 minutes. Well, that means I need to take 10 minutes now and go play. So I leave the bridge and I run down to the river. And now I'm looking for compositions on the river and ruining everybody else's photo. And maybe I don't see any compositions there that I like or that I'm feeling drawn to, so then I start getting inside of plants. 1,000 photos later, I come home and I'm putting together a gallery of my experience in a place like Zion National Park. And I've got the hero shot, I've got that iconic shot, and I've got those shots down by the river, and then I've got this shot through the plants, and those are the photos I got in that window of time, you know, the 10 minutes of playing and the 30 minutes to get the iconic shot. So I lead with the hero shot, you know, the shot that everyone else has got, but it's really beautiful. But in all of that, I ended up licensing the one that was in the plants to Target. And even still today, you can go in your local Target and find that photo. Target reached out to me about that photo, not the iconic shot. They reached out to me about the one that I got just playing around. And I never would have done that if it wasn't for that 3-to-1 system that I'm talking about. So this third system is going to take what we just talked about, taking some time to play, but give it a little more intentionality. You know, when you watch like a movie or a show, there's always like the lead or lead characters, or maybe it's an ensemble, whatever, but you have like the lead, like the main story arc is focused around this person or this group of people. And then you've got like the supporting cast. Take a show like The Office, it was about Michael Scott, it was about Jim, it was about Dwight, it was about Pam. And then everybody else is like supporting cast for that. This third system is to make sure that you give some love to your supporting cast. So let's take a place like Grand Teton, which has like a couple of really iconic places to go and get an iconic photo. There's Schwabacher Landing, there's Snake River Overlook, there's Mormon Row, and several other places you can go to and get iconic photos. But what happens like to everything in between? What happens to all the spots along the way, all the places that can support the story of Jackson Hole, all the places that support the history there, support the landscape? Like there's so much more than just those iconic spots, but so many photographers will just get the highlights, just go get those hero shots, and then they don't give much attention to all the supporting characters that can actually build a body of work. There's really nothing more telling to the photographer that you are as to what you do with the time and space in between your hero shots. Like, what did you go look for? How did you compose it? Were you looking for things that were close up? Were you looking for things that were far away? Were you looking to get some detailed macro shots, or were you trying to get an even bigger picture when you're out shooting? All those supporting characters actually tell us what kind of photographer you are more than your hero shots do. Because anyone can go pop a banger. Your voice is the one that finds all the connective tissue in between the bangers to tell us what kind of story that only you can tell us. Now, I've mentioned two great locations. I mentioned Zion and I've mentioned Grand Teton. These are two places that I have workshops coming up later this year. I'm not going to give you a whole spiel about it, but our workshops, they're so much fun. They're awesome. And they're all about topics like this, telling stories, composing, being out in the field and looking for things that really help you find your voice. Both workshops are coming up later this fall. There's a link below, and there's also a QR code right on the screen where you can get more information about these workshops. And if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm happy to help. All right, so we've talked about the need to get ourselves in the right place at the right time. We've talked about the 3-to-1 rule. We've talked about the need to give some love to the supporting characters. And now here's the fourth system that helps you figure out and determine the photographer that you are. Your work has a ton of patterns in it. The photographer that you are is basically hiding in your patterns. Let's pull our stack of books back over. This book is full of incredible patterns. The patterns I see in his work are incredible spacing with vertical lines. There is a sense of balance. There is a sense of symmetry. Just everything feels intentionally spaced out in his work. And it's work from a time period that has gone past. This is a historical record now, except this historical record is like incredibly beautiful. This is a kind of work that I hope to look back on later in my life and say, I captured a time period and it was done incredibly beautiful. Or take somebody like Ansel Adams, who not only was an incredible photographer, but incredible at printing. All of his work is primarily landscape, but it's so much more than landscape. But let me show you this. These tabs are all spots that I often go to in Yosemite. They represent places that I have access to today. And not that I go there to try to, be Ansel Adams and recreate his photos, but from a historical record standpoint, knowing that's important to me and the photographer that I am values a historical record, I love stepping into these same spots where he once stood and compare his images to what I'm looking at today. I think we might find a difference between like the photographer that he actually was and the photographer that we are quick to think he is. And we could repeat that same thing for any of these incredible photographers in this stack of books that I've used today as examples. Labels can be a box, and the moment you start to believe that you live in some box, you're going to find yourself trapped in that box. And you might spend years trying to become a certain type of photographer while neglecting the photographer that you actually are. Taking time to look for your repetition, look for your patterns, look for things that are on repeat, like your favorite playlist every time you look at your photos, that's gonna tell you the kind of things that are important to you, the kind of photographer that you are. So that system of constantly reviewing your work and looking for those patterns, looking for that repetition, it is so critical to make the other systems all work at their best. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, be sure to give it a like. If you are not subscribed, be sure to get subscribed. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.